The first year of retirement isn't always the dreamy escape many people imagine.
No, it's not. Maybe one of the most significant transitions in your life. It was for us, and it probably is going to be for you. And that's because it's filled with all the unexpected challenges, roadblocks, and adjustments you have to make in this new phase.
And I think it's really important to understand that if you fail to navigate this first year, you might find yourself questioning your entire decision to retire. And today we're going to give you some strategies to feel empowered to overcome any of the struggles you might find.
Do we ever feel like we made a mistake and we should still be working?
I do sometimes.
Do you?
I do.
Back in your corporate life?
I do.
I
do.
don't. Oh my goodness.
Well, I do.
I know. But listen.
And I'm sure some people do.
Maybe. But if you're new here, I'm Mark Rollins, and this is my wife, Jody Rollins.
We don't focus on the financial aspects of retirement, but rather lifestyle, health, relationships, and more.
And we're so happy you're here today, and it really would be helpful to us if you could share this video with anyone else that you know or care about that's in their retirement journey too.
And join our free Facebook community at Retirement Transformed. We go live each week and offer guidance, support, strategies to make this chapter the best it can be.
So before we jump in, I want to remind you that this first year of retirement really sets the foundation for all the future years to come. So you want to be able to equip yourself with the knowledge that you need, you want to stay proactive, and embrace this new journey with a lot of confidence.
We know dozens of people who are floundering in this first year of retirement, and it's really not pretty to watch. I was at a bridal shower this past weekend, and a woman across the table from me said, I heard her talking to someone else, and she said, "I'm terrified." And I thought, ooh, this will be an interesting conversation. We're at a bridal shower. I'm not sure what there is to be terrified about. But she's a teacher, and this is her last year. So in June, she's done after 35 years of teaching the third grade. And she said, I'm literally terrified. I don't know where to start.
That is scary, and it's scary for everyone. I'm not saying it's scarier for a teacher or a doctor or whatever, but if this is all you've known, and teachers have a special kind of thing. They work from the middle of August through the end of June, and then they have the summer off.
Right.
And you do that for 30, 40 years.
Right.
And it's a routine that you're comfortable with.
And you get
fulfillment.
fulfillment.
And you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You get fulfillment.
Right.
How do you fill that? So the first year is really, really important to get that right. My dad screwed it up big time. I mean, he, without a doubt, he's a good example of someone who made a lot of mistakes in his first year. And I tell people that retirement actually killed my dad because he just didn't know how to get through this first year and set himself off in a spiral, which was sad.
He was unprepared, and a lot of people do enter this phase of their life maybe prepared financially, but unprepared emotionally, and with all of the kind of red flags that start to come their way.
Yeah.
Your dad really just couldn't reinvent himself.
No.
He lived in the used to world.
Yeah, he had no real hobbies.
This.
It was bad. But, we do know plenty of people who think this phase is easy. And for some people, they actually make the transition smoothly. But for others, like my dad, like I said, it can actually kill you if you don't really get it right.
So we should cut the mystery and jump into what people really struggle with.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing we see in people that we know and clients that we have and talks that we have given, as well as the research that we do, is this major loss of identity that hits you probably a week or two after you retire.
Yeah, and for a long time, whether you're a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer or an insurance agent or a corporate executive, we derived a lot of our self-worth from our job roles, right? I mean, that's just the way it was. And when you first got out of college and started your job, it was one thing. But by the time you ended up, you were at a much higher, very senior level in your company, and that was your identity.
And when that identity no longer exists, you really find yourself in a strange danger zone, right? Without an identity in retirement, you can have feelings of worthlessness and really have a hard time finding your purpose and passion. So it's really a reinvention of sorts.
Yeah, so in your first year, this is going to happen. You're going to lose your identity, and you really need to start thinking about creating a new one. You don't want to go too long, like my dad did, and spend the next 10 years holding on to or feeling sad about losing your identity. You want to make a new one. It's really, really important. Now, the other thing that people struggle with in the first year of retirement is financial concerns. And that's normal, right? Because you're moving from a time in your life when you have a steady paycheck or an expense account or whatever it might be, health insurance, all of that is just coming at you automatically.
Yeah,
and then it stops.
It does stop. And then you have your nest egg, and market volatility can add to your stress. You know, if you've planned properly up to that moment, but then have to make different financial decisions moving forward, maybe risky or less risky investments, depending on, you know, how you're advised, you find yourself in a little bit of a budgeting process that becomes really crucial to how you're going to live this first year.
Well, it's a good point. And we spend 30, 40 years of our life accumulating assets, right? Just adding to it, 401k, whatever it might be. But then that stops. And now you go into this new phase called decumulation, where you're actually taking your savings and your assets and living on that. And that mentally is a really hard financial concern. So in the first year, you've really got to make sure that you figure that out and get comfortable with it and have a good plan, a good financial planner, you know.
Really nail your financials.
Right.
Yeah, really. And then, you know, we hear a lot from people, you know, that they're bored. They're bored in retirement. You know, they don't really have a routine that they can stick to. And they really struggle that first year getting away from, you know, the structure and accountability that they had with their work days.
Just this morning, I was down watching the sun come up, and I ran into my friend who retired a year ago, and he keeps himself busy. But, you know, I always check in with him and say, how's it going? Because it's okay. How's your new career that you're doing? He's a writer now, and he's writing. He said, well, it's interesting. You know, I watch you guys on YouTube, and you talk a lot about having routines. And I find that it's easier not having a routine, which it is, but then he doesn't do what he wants to do, which frankly is harder. If you don't have some routines built in and some plans for your day in the first year of retirement, you're going to get used to not having routines, and you're going to get used to not getting things done, and you're not going to like it. You just are not going to like it. So I think that it's easier to have routines. Maybe harder to get moving in that direction, but once you have them, your life becomes so much easier. I don't know how you think about that.
No, I agree with you. I do know we get a lot of pushback on people who want to just abandon routine because they've lived 35 or 40 years in a strict routine. Mm-hmm. And I really advise people, I think it's okay to let it go for a little while, but not too long so that, you know, as they say, the proverbial horse is out of the barn and now you can't get it back.
You wake up every day, what am I going to do today? That is not a good position to be in for a whole year for sure.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that you can struggle with, and you might struggle with right out of the box when you leave your career, is social isolation. I know for me, I had, 80 people working in my company. I was the CEO, and I had great relationships with these people. And it was kind of like Fridays were, what are you going to do this weekend? What's going to happen? Mondays were, how was your weekend? What did you do? How are the kids? How are the grandkids? All of this stops, right? And then it's just you and me.
And really, it's important to remember that, those relationships that you had at work, even extending out to, I knew a lot of, my coworkers' spouses and their children, and I watched them grow and go through college.
Yeah.
And, you have that longevity of your story, your relationship story with these folks. And some of them you will bring with you.
Right.
But a lot of them get kind of left behind in the situational kind of friendship bucket.
So the big message here is to replace it. You've got to find community, whether it's joining a health club or, we do pickleball. We talk about that a lot. Going back to church or religious institutions, social clubs, community centers.
Gym classes.
Reaching out to your friends. Make a list of all your friends and start contacting them because you don't want to struggle with social isolation in your first year. It's really going to bring you down.
And the fourth thing that we really wanted to talk about was your health and physical activity, because I know we did this when we retired. We were like, we're just going to go ahead and relax and eat and drink and just sleep late. And, we got a little sluggish there for a while.
We did.
And it wasn't healthy for us. And we did course correct.
We did.
And, not saying 7 days a week, 30 days out of the month, we're always on track. We do stay on the health and wellness mission, because as you age, health challenges come your way.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Well, the other big thing that you could find yourself struggling with is when you first retire in your first year, depending upon your circumstances with your partner, and in this case, Jody and I as a married couple, that relationship can struggle because we both had work, we had our careers, we had time at home, but all the dynamics change when both of you now are home all day long. And frankly, this business for us is really helpful because it gives us something to do together, but we also do a lot of things on our own.
We do. And while the business is helpful, it adds stress, and boundaries become even more important, I think. So if you're starting a business in retirement, which we should maybe do a series on that.
We are. We definitely are. Yeah.
Because there is some milestones that we uncovered.
Well, the other thing that people struggle with in the first year is getting used to setting goals. Like you said, a lot of people say, gosh, you guys do all this planning and stuff, but you need to. If you don't set some goals for yourself, because you're used to that during your career, right? You set work-related milestones. You might find yourself without goals a little bit aimless. And at least having personal goals on your physical wellness or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think the big difference with goals is now you have a chance to hold yourself accountable, and your goals can be aimed at things that you're really interested in,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
And then if you're really interested in, for example, I've been practicing, I don't know that I'll ever end the practice, but different things in yoga, and I set goals for myself. No one else is holding me accountable. I mean, you would have no idea.
No, but you come home and you tell me about the new stances, like the one-legged chicken. Is that one of the things?
That is not one, but
what
we'll
is
do
it?
a whole nother yoga series, I guess.
Well, I think again, having goals is really important, and just a couple more things.
Yeah.
Your emotional well-being. It's easy to get in this first year and all of a sudden find yourself sad and down, and that stuff will creep into your life if you're not doing everything we said.
You know what's funny about this emotional well-being one?
Because I'm so sad all the time?
Well, no, we actually had a little bit of a tussle this morning.
You think?
And sometimes I wonder if in retirement you have more time to think about things. Mm-hmm. And, maybe you create a mountain out of a molehill.
You think? No.
What?
What is this?
I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
My finger never
touched. And you're
touched.
the one that built this huge mountain this morning out of a molehill.
So, I wonder if this is something to really focus on, recognizing the emotions that you have, and consider even, seeking some counsel on it.
So now I need a therapist for our relationship? This whole first year of retirement can be very, very difficult.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Definitely.
It's meant to be fun and exciting. So we don't want to find ourselves in a rut and unsure what to do next.
Yeah, I mean, trust us when we tell you, if you get into some good rhythm in your first year, the rest of your retirement can become all that you dreamed of.
Like our retirement, right? What's so funny? We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, this next one, A Happy Retirement is in Your Control. We talk about how to bring healthy habits into your life so that you can flourish in retirement. So watch this one next.